SIBN Radio.
Well, welcome back, guys, to the Political Rant. My name is Marcus, right here, the coach. Guys, welcome aboard to this amazing platform where we can share what we think, what we believe. There's so many buttons here to control. Goodness gracious. But anyway, welcome back, guys. Appreciate you stopping in. Thank you to our listeners on Spreaker and beyond. I broadcast TV, Facebook. Yes, sir. Okay.
Well, thanks for we enjoy being here, Marcus. I mean, I just love my politics.
Okay.
I like the GOP because if I was a comedian, I got a lot of good information on it.
Yes, sir.
One of the things that we want to continue to talk about in this issue is that, you know, we might be going to the fiscal slope, as some people call it, or the fiscal curve, or the fiscal cliff, whatever it might be. The GOP had a couple of years to get it all worked out, but they refused to work. They never want to work.
They had more than a couple of years. They had, 8 years of Bush, and before that they had, the Congress, the Senate. I mean, they've been in power for a long time. It's all about balance. You have to have balance in political power. Nobody can have exclusive power to do everything they want to do. It doesn't matter who they are, whether it's Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Liberals. Anyone that gets exclusive power are going to eventually be in a position where they're abusing that power. So you have to have these checks and balances on people in power. And it's good that Barack Obama, President Obama, has to go through such an effort to do what he wants to do. That shows you how bad he wants to do it. It shows you what skills he needs in order to do it. I mean, you can't get someone without some really serious political skills to accomplish the things that need to be done. That's why people say they always want, well, man, we need a businessman in office. See, man, you lost your mind. A businessman is used to having autonomous power. Whatever he says goes.
That's right.
Do it my way or take the highway.
And that's the interesting point about this. Because this is what Mitt Romney, a lot of people didn't figure it out with him. That's what he was going to do. If he didn't want, he would overtake a company, pull the money out, cause the company to go down, bankrupt, and then send the jobs overseas.
Exactly.
That's what a CEO does.
That's what a CEO does, exactly. His goal is maximizing profit for the investors, and that's an admirable goal,
Right.
But the goal of a president of the United States, the goal of a politician, that's a different goal altogether. You need a different set of skills. You need to be able to work with people. You need to be able to work with those who disagree with you and those who agree with you.
And we see that in our President Obama. We really see that because he's willing to reach across the aisles, but in the GOP case,
exactly,
they don't want to work with him.
Well, no, they don't. They want to do it their way.
I think the business people since President Obama been holding roundtable discussion with CEOs of major 500 companies, I think they actually see this and they understand the fact that when Clinton was in office, they saw how things prospered. They made money.
Right.
And they're going to see it now.
Right. That was a headline in today's newspaper, man, that the unemployment rate is down lower than it has been since the last 4 years. I mean, that made the headlines of the local newspaper. And so, it takes time for policies that you implement to be enacted and for the effects to take place and be shown in the outer marketplace. You can't just do things overnight. You can't turn around the Titanic in one fell swoop. It takes time. It takes time.
And I want to ask you guys a question on back to the fiscal cliff. How would it affect those who are listening, in your view? I mean, some people are talking about the fiscal cliff as though it's a bad thing, but it sounds like to me it may be a good thing that we go over the cliff. I don't know. Talk about that as it relates to the listeners.
What do you think, Stan?
Well, I'm not an economist, but from what I have asked questions about is that the Bush tax credit, if we go off the cliff, it will impact us and raise our taxes up somewhat average, right around $2,000.
And that's for income, I think, over.
No, that's for people less than 250,000.
Okay.
Anybody less than 250,000, you can look, and the average person, okay, their salary may be, anywhere between 60 to 120,000. It's going to go up $2,000. Okay, and for some people who have kids, a family of 4, that's child care for a year. Okay,
Right.
and for some people, single parent,
Right.
that's child care, health care, and the GOP are still trying to get rid of health care as we know it today. But going off the fiscal cliff, now if they sell on this, and they know that 99%, let's say, use a good term, say, 98% of the people already. Let's move this off the table and pass and pass these cuts before the end of the month, and we can sell the wealthy people later on. Because see, if the wealthy people go off the cliff, that means that it's going to be a mandate pretty much on how much taxes they're going to pay. The 37, 38, 39% under Clinton, 39.6. That's going to be the norm for them. But if they sell before they go off the cliff, they got a chance to work it out.
Okay. But the truth of the matter, for the poor and for the declining middle class, the risk are not in just taxes. Am I correct? The risk becomes certain programs that they have had access to will now be cut. What's the talk about Medicare? Of course, the Democrats are saying that's not even an option. But talk about beyond taxes. What affects the declining middle class and the poor regarding the fiscal cliff?
Well, if you got a family that's poor, they're going to affect it tax-wise, but they might say people poor don't pay that much tax anyhow, especially if you're on some type of social program. But just assume they are one paycheck over poverty level. They're going to get hit on taxes going up. They're also going to get hit on some of the social programs that they might be receiving. And for women out there, we know that Parent Planthoods location is going to be shut down. We also see that in Medicare, the average person who's retired, who has paid their dues in this world, society, working, okay, their Medicare bill are going to go up.
Okay. Well, I'm for taxes being as low as possible. Okay. I want taxes low. I don't want to pay high taxes and higher taxes and higher taxes.
I just don't know how much more we can pay, though. I mean, my goodness, I'm sorry, but it's not clear to me how we, the middle class, and in some cases the declining middle class, have an advantage here. It seems like we're just taxed every single time.
Well, that's one of the problems that we're having economically in this country, is that the middle class is diminishing. The wealthy are getting wealthier. The poor are getting poor, and they're becoming more poor people in America rather than the other way around. America hasn't traditionally been like that. It's been the land of opportunity. It's been the land of where people from other countries come because there's freedom and opportunity here. And now you're starting to see a situation where the middle class is disappearing because the jobs that have been disappearing. They're going to China, they're going overseas. And so as the rich get richer and the poor get poorer and more of them, the middle class is becoming attenuated. It's becoming fewer and fewer of them. So that's what needs to be turned around.
But for the average listener, what they need to understand is this: whether there is a fiscal cliff or not, cuts are coming down the line for social programs. Plain and simple. The country needs money. We need revenue. The rich didn't want to give up anything, so revenue is scarce. Yes, we have growth. The gross domestic product is rising. Unemployment is being lowered. There's a little bit more trust in the stock market. People are creating jobs. But the bottom line, for the listening poor and declining middle class, social programs are going to be cut. So I side with the Republicans on this one. If you got bootstraps, you need to pull them jokers up.
Absolutely.
Well, Marcus, one thing that I found out is that working for a company over the last 4 years, the company, first thing they came to the employees and say, we're not going to give you a raise. Matter of fact, we need you to take a cut in pay. Okay, if I'm a small business person, and say for instance I got a contract with a company, that contract cost is going to be the same thing for the next 4 years. So that means that people who are making money and working, their paycheck is getting smaller and smaller, while corporate America saving account are getting larger and larger. They're making more money. So you can see why they're taking the consumer and just twisting them up just like a cloth.
Well, as a consumer, you have to be financially responsible. Look at the banking industry, for example. I mean, you got these banks who are doing all kinds of stuff and coming up with all kinds of fees. $1 here, $2 there, $5 there. Man, one bank, what is it? I don't want to say their name, but they wanted to charge $5 per transaction. Whenever you use your debit card, they wanted to charge you $5 just for using it. And there was such an outcry over that.
Yeah,
they had to come back and not do it.
Again, that was the people.
That's right.
People pull together.
You got to pull together on those kinds of issues.
But that's just the point. You just said it. If you're listening to this radio show, you have to decide what are you going to do, because this affects us all. And I like what you said. You have to pull together the resources that you have available, from personal moral responsibility to personal financial responsibility. But I have to go back to the old white men theory. Why? Because as we know, though Barack Obama won the presidency, the Republicans are still running the states. Let's just call it for what it is. We got 48 states, 50 states, and 30% plus of Republicans have control of the states. So Stan, talk about that as it affects the average listener. While we are going off perhaps on the fiscal cliff on the federal level, how does this affect the states and the fact that governorships are ran by Republicans?
Well, one thing we know, and it's a known fact, is that most states that are ran by a Republican, a lot of them are in trouble. The one thing that I know about the states that have been ran by Democrat governors have all prospered. During the time that California have always been a prospering state, it's always ran by, and they pay more in federal funding than Georgia, than Arkansas, than Alabama, than Mississippi. New York is another state. It's a Democrat-ran governor, and it's have always prospered. No states to me that I have did my research on has prospered under Republican order, because they go in and they take. They don't go in and spread the wealth. There's no trickle-down effect. None.
But they never did believe in
trickle-up effect.
Yeah.
That's talking points. That's talking points, man. For GOP to say that more jobs are created if you give wealthy people tax break, it's a lie. I'm calling you out, GOP, you're straight up liars.
Yes.
Y'all need to get a job and work, because we're going to fire all of y'all coming 2014 and 2016. Republicans, we're coming at y'all.
Because we got the 2-year stretch coming up. We got the 2-year stretch. Okay? So coming back, let's talk a little bit more about the fiscal cliff, please. And let's talk about this Obamacare that is on the horizon. I know that's a little soon, but we'll talk about that when we come back. Obamacare, how that affects your pocketbook. All right?
All right.
Thank you so much for joining us. You guys stand by.
Aaron, I was able to save you hundreds.
Yeah, discount, double check. I know. I'm kind of looking at all.
So are we.
What?
It's a little
soft.
No, it isn't.
It is.